An MVP is back at practice, we think. Saw an incredible performance and a loss. Do you feel bad? And 18 innings of baseball last night has us a little bleary-eyed. It's Tuesday, October 28th. It's Martin in Monaco. So, the NBA comes out with the big gambling scandal, Alex. And then, not but 24 hours later, all of a sudden the Baltimore Ravens are like, we need to put an asterisk on our injury report. Lamar Jackson was, in fact, not a full participant, and, in fact, will not be participating in this weekend's game. Now, John Harbaugh then went and said, it's an honest mistake. You know what? I have an island in Manhattan to sell. However, I do think that Lamar Jackson will likely play on Thursday if he was running scout team practice last week. But I do not see a way that those two things are not directly lined in together.
Yo, that was a little sus, Martin, to say the least. Welcome, obviously, to the NFL. But, I mean, I'm in the world of betting. That was a 6.5-point line all week, and I wake up Sunday, and it's 2.5. So the nice thing is the Ravens would have covered the Lamar line versus what we saw with Snoop Huntley. But goodness gracious. Not great timing, Harbaugh. Way to read the room in the world of sports, bud. But, I mean, look, on a Ravens thought, is this team back? Because 7.5-point line for Thursday obviously is telling us it's a Lamar, like you alluded to, scout team, he's going, type performance. Yeah, Miami looked good against Atlanta. I mean, Kirk Cousins, the second cul-de-sac father at 3, just collecting paychecks out here. But, yeah, man, you look at the Ravens' schedule here, and you watch another Pittsburgh Steelers second-half woes, a defense that never has come to fruition based off how much they're getting paid. How do we not look at the Ravens at humble plus money here in a couple spots as a serious team as long as they can get healthy?
Because that's the last part, as long as they can get healthy, right? Now, Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh have a tortured relationship when it comes to the injury report. Lamar Jackson is the only NFL quarterback that I know that consistently gets a winter cold. Like, he's just sick. Like, that just doesn't happen with a lot of other guys. But also, he every year he has an injury or something. When he does have an injury, it seems like he and John Harbaugh are never on the same page. This was another example of that. I kind of think they listed him as a full participant to try to force him to play. But either way, I think he does play on Thursday. If he plays Thursday, that will be a mollywhopping, a demolition. That will be a complete annihilation. And maybe, just maybe, the last 4 quarters that Mike McDaniel coaches as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
But if he doesn't, and I think there's more than a 20% chance that he doesn't play, and there's more to this story behind this injury report and hamstring thing, that's the thing that has me worried about the Ravens.
Well, we got 3 straight Ravens road games, starting out with this Thursday in the 3:05, and then 3 straight, I don't want to say cupcake home games, but let me just rattle off the 3 road. They go at Miami, at Minnesota, at Cleveland. Is this a 3-0 on the road endeavor? I mean, this is their season. They have to at least go 2-1.
They don't have any space at all. I think you need to beat all of those teams. Minnesota, you would expect to give you some trouble, but they're also having some trouble with their injury report. But so I would expect Minnesota should be a team that you compete with. If you do go 2-1, that needs to be the one. But they need to go 3-0. They need to rip off like a 5-6 win streak in a row to where you're looking around Thanksgiving or a week after Thanksgiving, and the Ravens are right there atop the AFC, not just atop the AFC North.
Is it do we just watch Baltimore football get back to basics and watch this Steelers team implode? You're the one that tried to tell me on the Martin and Monaco show, even back to Fox Sports Radio over the summer, this is going to be the same Steelers result, 9-8, little bit of drama, one and done in the playoffs. After the back-to-back losses, they seem a little bit more like that than Super Bowl contenders. Is every Pittsburgh loss at this point a 2-for-1 and a Ravens win, right? Because if Cincy's going to lose to the Jets, our guy Ian's team, and the Browns are nowhere near competing in the National Football League in the wins and loss column. It's a two-horse race, and Pittsburgh could just keep losing.
Yeah, if they don't get better defensively, I'll be shocked. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I understand, like, I mean better, like, average. Can we get to 17th? Can we get to 20th in some defensive metrics? Because right now the Steelers are, like, up there with the Cowboys in terms of worst defenses out. And your personnel states you should be better than that. Your head coach states you should be better than that. And if they don't, like, if they somehow fail to miss the playoffs, this is probably the first time I'd be like, all right, it might be time to let Mike T go.
If you had to take Ravens or Steelers, who are you taking to win the North right now?
I'm plugging my nose, I'm closing my eyes, and I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
FanDuel has it at Ravens minus 110, Steelers plus 165. At a 2-5 Ravens team, Martin. That's a Vegas tip of all tips.
And
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right.
Here's the thing I can't shake. The Ravens against Buffalo gave up that 16-point lead. Josh Allen was playing amazing, and that was the healthy Ravens. That was the full strength, we're good to go 2025 Baltimore Ravens. And I get that Josh Allen is awesome. Not taking anything away from him. I just can't erase that memory from my mind. I know Derrick Henry had the fumbleitis in those games. Maybe he's gotten over that. I just can't get it out. They feel to me to be a class below in the AFC.
I was going to bring that up as well, Martin, the fact that when we have seen the Ravens healthy this season, they honestly weren't looking like the Super Bowl contenders they were supposed to be coming into the year. I think regardless, even if they can come away and win the division somehow, I say somehow like that's some tough task. It's a terrible division. I think all of the teams in here suck. But the Ravens, this is not a Super Bowl team. I think we can all agree on that. It's just whether they're going to wind up squeezing into the playoffs because they win the division. I think that's the only way it happens because this isn't a Super Bowl team. But speaking of the AFC North, the Browns and Myles Garrett just lost to the New England Patriots this past week. Myles Garrett had 5 sacks of Drake May, which he's one of only a handful of NFL players in the history of the league to actually do that, but he is the first to do it and lose the game. So I guess my question to you guys here is, do you feel any sympathy for the guy after you remember over the summer he requested a trade but wound up coming to an agreement and signing a record contract with the Browns? So what do you think? Any sympathy for Myles Garrett here at all?
I'll let Martin take the podium and go all out, but what do we think, Myles? What do we know we're doing when we're re-signing in Cleveland? I mean, literally, how many quarterbacks are they still paying? And maybe this was like him and Shadur had real chemistry in preseason if you caught a couple of those moments on the mic. So maybe, small part of him's like, all right, we're going with Deion's kid. This is a new culture I can buy into. But, I mean, I can't spend any longer than 30 seconds going, no, dude, it's the lowest self-esteem franchise in the history of mankind.
See, for me, Myles Garrett, I think, was much more upset that he wasn't able to get 6 sacks. I think that when Myles Garrett signed that contract, it was a tacit understanding. I am trading this money for the opportunity to compete on a high level team. And I don't begrudge him for that. I don't begrudge him from that. I really don't. If you want to go work at the lowest rated station in America and they'll pay you the most, go for it. Right? Go for it. And that's just where you're going to be. So you will be a legend there. But you shouldn't be a legend everywhere. We'll never know what you could do in the playoffs. We know that T.J. Watt hasn't made plays in playoff games. We know that Micah Parsons can disappear in playoff games because they've been there. We don't know anything about Myles Garrett in the playoffs because he don't go. And he decided, I'm going to take this money instead of deciding to essentially do what Micah Parsons did. Micah Parsons is going to be in the playoffs. He's going to be making plays in late December and January this year, whether it's as a wild card as the division leader in the NFC North. He'll be there. The Cowboys may not be, right? Myles Garrett had an opportunity to get out of this situation, and I get that Cleveland could have paid him more than anybody else, but, how many millions is enough millions to where you feel good after a game where you have 5 sacks instead of feeling bad about it?
Yeah, he almost made the whole culture there worse by staying, because a guy like Andrew Berry gets to maybe retain his job for another year when he's absolutely cooking everybody. Because 3 solid defensive pieces in the history of his entire tenure, one of them being Myles. Like, Garrett should have left, made a statement, and hopefully left making the place he left better, like a toxic relationship. Hey, peace. Hopefully the next guy, you're not mean to like this. Anyways.
And here's the other thing
on that. But yeah, there's something to just these great players sticking on bad franchises. And how many of those sacks were after Cleveland was plus 21.5 on FanDuel?
I mean, the headline read, Myles Garrett gets 5 sacks, breaks Cleveland Brown record, Browns trail 30-13. So, like, to the point, we just saw yesterday one of the most impressive and also impressive in terms of just physical feats from an athlete, and then impressive in terms of respect from the opponent in Shohei Ohtani in Game 3 of the World Series that lasted 18 innings because they wouldn't throw the ball at him past the 7th, right? If he was in Anaheim still, we would have never seen it because the score would have been 17-5.
Yeah, well said. Speaking of that, Ian, might as well hop right in here to this World Series talk. I was up a little past my bedtime over here in New York.
Buddy, past my bedtime here, West Coast, too. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I was at work at Fox Sports Radio, as you guys know, and editing into the night, and it was I don't know. I guess my whole thing is that it was a boring baseball game, and maybe that's a hot take, but it wasn't. I mean that. I don't mean that to say the entirety of the game was boring, because the first 9 innings, which is actually, the game itself, or what it should have been, was incredible. Tied at 5, all that. And admittedly, I'm not a huge baseball guy, so I watched that and I was very entertained by it. And I can acknowledge that it was an all-time game. But the fact that 50% of the entire product last night was nothing. There were no hits. It was the back of the bullpen. They were scraping the bottom of the barrel for these guys, and there were a few times where they almost hit a home run, almost got it out, but because we were so late in the game, everyone's gassed, couldn't quite make it out, and we were all just sitting there waiting for someone to end the misery. And I just feel like you can't say when 50% of the product was that bad that you can say that it was this incredible game overall, even if it was the longest game in MLB history.
Well, you put yourself out there a little bit there saying you're not a huge baseball guy, because I guess it depends on what kind of baseball. Do you want to see mashing 5-5 if you're taking a step back through 8 innings, 9 innings? All right, this is kind of an offensive dance. Then it goes no runs for 9 innings. I happen to be in the stadium in a Harry Dunn light blue tux for the longest game of all time, Red Sox-Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Missed my Halloween party that night and almost got a parking ticket and towed because we left at 2 a.m. Only knock there was they stopped serving beer and they don't turn it back on for extra innings. So the crowd gets a little, imagine going from buzz to completely, now you got a headache and you're passing out a leave instead of another Stella. But I don't know that it was boring. Boring's a tough word to get behind because it's high stakes. I think
that's a little too drastic.
I think maybe we need to talk out something in the rules, maybe toss it to Martin here with this Ohtani thing. He goes 4 for 4 with 4 extra base hits and then doesn't get to see the plate. That's not nothing. And is that something, because we're not a huge fan of man on second in extras in the World Series, but like that regular season rule would have had you not saying this.
So, to me, I watched that game. I was thoroughly entertained. And I don't know how you can watch it and say, especially, there was nothing after the 9th inning, when you had a first ballot Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw, come out in a situation he's never been in before in his entire career, and that guy is older than me, and go ahead and get the out. That was crazy. Also, too, imagine the story if he did not swing at that 4th ball. Oh, my goodness. And Kershaw walked in the run, and the Dodgers somehow lost that game.
Yeah.
Yo, that would have been insane. But
he came out legacy intact. That was big. And again, and not to cut you off, but that was in the 11th inning or 12th inning, I want to say. So, again,
13.
There was another 13th. Okay, but again, after that, there was another 5 innings after.
But okay, so let me ask you: do you think at any point, like when it got to like 14, 15, announcers starting to discuss, we're running out of pitchers? Is that interesting? Because that got me. I mean, I'm dozing off, and then I'm not dozing off. Like Schneider should have never rounded
from the
third.
Standpoint,
because there were several cornerstone moments in the extras, and that storyline maybe gave it legs 15th inning on.
Alex,
True. It's interesting from the standpoint of, are we going to see like Mookie Betts on the mound? Because I truly don't know what happens if you run out of pitchers. Up.
That's nuts.
All right, you're making me buy back in a little bit. It wasn't horrible.
Ian is primarily a football fan, right? Sure. And this is what happens when you're primarily a football fan. Because I grew up a primary football fan and then had to learn to love all these other sports. Yeah. Soccer will never work. It's part of the same issue. In football, you watch for 7 seconds, and then for 40 seconds, you can do whatever you want, right? There's nothing to, because you can tell the personnel who's coming in and out and so on and so forth. You don't have to pay that much attention, especially if you're somebody who's locked in. In baseball, if you only pay attention to the pitch, you are missing 80% of the story, right? And if you don't understand, I'm not saying that Ian doesn't understand, but if you don't understand the implications of this ball versus that strike, the best way to watch baseball if you're not into it is call the balls and strikes yourself. When you're watching the game, say that's a ball, that's a strike, that's a ball, that's a strike. Because what you don't see if you're not there all the time is how on any single pitch that the Toronto Blue Jays threw, from the 9th inning to the 18th inning, the game could have ended. You know what I'm saying? The game could have ended. It was a little one of them.
It's kind of like playoff hockey when it keeps going and going, and you're like, next goal wins, but it may take several periods. But it just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's not riveting.
And so to watch guys come out and play in roles that they never ever are playing in the regular season, to me, that's what makes it special. You see some guy named Will Klein. Dodgers fans don't know who Will Klein is. He pitched 66 pitches in the month of September. He pitched 70 pitches yesterday. That's superhuman. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like if your left tackle, it'd be like if all your running backs got hurt and your left tackle rushed for 75 yards. This is just not what happens. Unless you're Alabama and you run the ball with Caden Proctor.
We'll see what kind of hangover, no hangover there is for Game 4. But I think it was one for the books for some interesting reasons.
I also have one other thing that could fix, I think, the general complaint. Because here's the problem with what happened yesterday. We were all there, let's be honest, for Shohei. Right? We're all there for Shohei. Because he's playing video game type stuff. And the way the new rules have fixed baseball, in my opinion. You can get in and out of a baseball game in 2.5 hours. The chance that somebody like Ian, who's not a big baseball guy, gets into baseball is exponentially greater because of the new rules. Here's the thing, though. Once he gets to the playoffs, throw him out. Let's play like it's 1907. I don't need a pitch clock. I don't need a pitch clock. I don't need a ghost runner. And I damn sure don't need the manager saying 4 instead of seeing the guy on the mound throw the ball 4 times. Because if you actually sit there and watch that guy throw 4 pitches, you know what happens after that? He's then got to relocate against a Hall of Famer in Mookie Betts.
Yeah,
right? He's got to find the zone again.
Do you think there should be a rule, both of you, where if you get to extras like that, maybe it's the Ohtani rule because of Game 3, that you can intentionally walk a dude, but you can't do it 2 times in a row? It has to be on, off. Something like that?
I don't like it.
I'm with that, dude. It's just you can't. Everyone's that, like you said, anyone who's not a huge baseball fan, and maybe it's the World Series, so I guess you can argue that it's not necessarily for those fans. It's for the diehards because this is, for all the marbles, who wins the championship. But we're there to see Shohei Ohtani, and if he's not, and obviously he had a great game before then, and that's why I'm giving credit to those 9 innings, which were incredible. But it's just when you don't even see the best player out there get to play at all, it's just it's brutal. And I get that then he's followed up by 2 Hall of Famers and Betts and Freeman, but it was just, when those guys aren't doing something and they clearly don't have it that night, which is, it's rich to say when Freeman ultimately hit the game winner in the 18th inning. But
Martin,
clearly they just didn't have it for that
Rob
second half of baseball.
Was this a great baseball game from Rob Parker's perspective? Have you heard his take yet?
I have not. Knowing him, he'll probably find a way to say that, Ohtani could have hit more if he had swung at the intentional walk pitches. But I just think that there's a lot of people parachuting in who watched a lot of baseball yesterday, who are like, we should change the intentional walk rule to this, to that, to this, to that. We were fine in the World Series before. Nobody was complaining about the length of World Series games. It was the length of games in August that were bothering people, right? It was the length of games. It was not the length of games in October, right? We were good with that. Because, think about Will Klein yesterday. That boy did not need a pitch clock because he's fired up and just ripping pitches down the seam, right? You don't need to go and change everything, I think, because the strategy would change dramatically if your pitcher actually had to throw 4 balls, right? Because then it's just and right now the way it is, an intentional walk is not damaging enough to the team that issues it. But I don't think they should get more than 90 feet for a walk.
Yeah, I haven't heard that take. That's interesting. To put a button on it, it would be a fascinating thought if they did go back to everything you were alluding to, 1905. Because, what happens when the NFL tries to get the overtime perfect? Now we're pissed off again. Meanwhile, college overtime, everybody loves. When have you heard college, and yet college overtime starts on the 25-yard line of the opposition? I'm not saying that there's a perfect answer for this, but, geez, if you try to do too much, we all know about the guy trying too much. It never works either. So it's dang, what do we do here? Maybe we go back to basics.
Hard pivot back to football after that long baseball discussion there. Two of the biggest surprises in the NFL this year, maybe the 2 biggest surprises, are the Indianapolis Colts having the best record in football as we approach the midpoint of the season. And then the Patriots and Mike Vrabel. They're leading the AFC East, also looking like one of the best teams in the league when they were predicted to be in, another rebuilding year. It's Mike Vrabel's first year with the Patriots, and they're coming off a one-and-done year with Gerard Mayo. So just want to know, A, which is the bigger surprise to you guys out of those two, and also which is the more sustainable surprise? Which do you think is more for real overall? We'll start with you, Martin.
The bigger surprise to me is the Colts. I thought the Patriots, I wouldn't say that they had a ton of talent under Gerard Mayo, but every year I pick a bad team that I just get stuck on, and I'm like, they should cover this number. They should be better than this. This team should just be better than this. That's how I felt about the Patriots last year. I'm not saying that they were over, like the Raiders this year, right? The Raiders this year should be better than what their record is. They're not good, but they should be better than what their record is. That's how I felt about the Patriots. So when Vrabel got in there and reestablished a new foundation, built a culture, okay, I get it now. That makes sense that this team is winning. Did I think they'd be this good this fast? No, but I did think that they will be good. I didn't think the Colts would be good at all. Right? I thought the Colts were going to, the 2 lowest rated passers in the NFL in the last 5 years, at week 1 of this year, were Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. That was the 2 lowest rated passers in the last 5 years in the NFL. I thought Steichen knew what he was doing, but I just thought he couldn't get a guy. The one that's more sustainable to me is the Colts.
Wow.
Drake May's press conference after a 30-13 or some odd win like that started with, besides Myles Garrett, how are you feeling? Because he got sacked 5 times in a 27-point win. He puts himself at risk, and he puts himself in danger, and Daniel Jones just doesn't. And the offensive line doesn't, and Jonathan Taylor's the MVP of the NFL.
I almost completely agree with you. Bigger shock has to be the Colts. I'm looking at it, just triple check. If we were sitting here pre-flop before the season, and the number 1 offense, not just in yards, not just in passing yards, 33.8 points per game, was the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if I've ever been more wrong on a swing and miss. I might have even been on the Martin Monaco show over the summer, gentlemen, chirping Steichen for not giving Richardson the ball. I mean, I've never been. This is so wrong that KOC indirectly on a spider web is on a hot seat because they don't have a quarterback, and this dude was in Minnesota. Daniel Jones, I've never been so sorely incorrect. Vegas was even humbled. Their total was 6.5 wins. They need one win for 2.5 months of football to clear their team total over. Now, the sustainable thing, this was the knock on the Giants world. Where was the infrastructure? Do offensive lines stay forever? I don't know. They come and go. Is Jonathan Taylor best running back in the league right now? Is he going to be there for Daniel Jones for years, plural? If I'm taking a step back and I'm going, we watched Mike Vrabel taking Tannehill, who was a 500 quarterback on OG Hard Knocks, to the AFC ship. You'd like to think with May throwing to who? Thornton and Booty and Diggs worried about a Cardi B pregnancy? I'd like to think they're only going to get better over there on a year 2 of Drake May, whereas, like, is this just the perfect timing of a quarterback that is built to run a Jonathan Taylor run first, play action, top 5 infrastructure offensive line Steichen offense? I mean, this can't even get better. I can't sit here. Martin, I saw your boss do this today on the herd hierarchy. He's got the Colts 3rd. I mean, this is incomprehensible for all football watchers. Just because we watched Daniel Jones have people age in New York worse than people in office. I got to say it a third time.
So my thing, I think for this season, I think the Colts will have a better finish than the Patriots. For the long term, I think the Patriots are more set up for success. But this year, this Colts team, especially if they can get, stop running into each other in pregame warmups and giving defensive backs concussions, I think, dude, to your point about their offense, though, I would have told you, if you had told me they would be the number 1 offense in the AFC South, I would have said no chance.
I mean, this is when has anyone and everyone been so unanimously incorrect?
Yeah, I fully thought the Colts were maybe going to have the number 1 pick in the draft this year. Like, it was that's how drastic of a surprise this is. Like, two ends of the spectrum, and not just me. I feel like this was a pretty common thing. We were on the complete wrong side of it. So insane. So I think it has to be the Colts for biggest surprise for my answer there. But sustainable, yeah, it's the Patriots, just because I think when it comes to sustainability in a franchise, it's who's the head coach, who's the owner, who's all that. We know Robert Kraft is a good enough owner to build a sustainable winner. We've seen it. Mike Vrabel, we've also seen it. He can build a sustainable winner. He can get rosters to overachieve. He's currently getting his roster to overachieve. Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, you said it, Alex. Like, these are guys that Drake May is throwing to, and these are his top targets. And Drake May looks great. Like, you have the quarterback, you have the head coach. That's really sustainable to me. So, yeah, that's my answer there.
At what point are we doing a group bet, and hopefully none of us have to shave our heads if the Colts win the Super Bowl? I mean, I really hope this team, if we're going to do something on the show, is not the team we fade, because they're also the only team, one of top 10 in offense and defense.
All right, just to transition here now, guys. Carson Wentz. Bad news, sad news for Vikings fans. He's set to undergo season-ending shoulder surgery. But the bigger news surrounding it is the fact that this is now JJ McCarthy's team. Like, there's no one else now. Adam Schefter did report that he expects them to be looking at JJ McCarthy insurance, quote-unquote, but this is JJ McCarthy's team now. What do you guys think? Is this is he going to succeed?
Martin, you take it, man. You take it.
I was never high on JJ McCarthy as a pro. I actually thought after the national championship game that he needed to come back to college. And if he did, I thought he had a great shot to be like the number 1 overall pick. And I think that honestly probably bears out if he had played at Michigan last year instead of rehabbing in Minnesota. Hell, even if he had gotten hurt at Michigan, he still might have been a first-round quarterback. He still might have been a first-round pick when you consider Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, and Shedeur Sanders in that class.
Yeah.
Right? JJ McCarthy was the emergency quarterback for Minnesota last week and the week before. The NFL changed the rules after Brock Purdy got hurt in the NFC Championship game 3 years ago.
Yeah.
To where your emergency quarterback can dress, and he's not going to count against your active roster. But in order for a player to dress in the NFL, that player has to be cleared to play. You're not putting pads on if you can't play, right? Ipso facto, take the walk with me. That means JJ McCarthy was cleared to play 2 weeks ago.
Because he
was the emergency quarterback. Because he had pads on. Think about Fred Warner. Fred Warner, obviously, not cleared to play. He can't walk. Where is he? Up in the suite, talking to the owners and the fans and whoever else is up there. JJ McCarthy is on the sideline to a point where Justin Jefferson catches a first down, rolls up to where JJ McCarthy is, and JJ McCarthy jumps out of the way. Now, I'm not conspiracy theorist saying the ankle is this or that, but finding out that, which is a whole other story that we found this out now, but that Carson Wentz tore his labrum the half of the London game 3 weeks ago, that means that you had the guy you named your week 1 starter active and cleared to play, and you decided to put your backup with a torn labrum on the field instead of him.
Martin, you are on
Twice.
To put it up, social clip, put a pin in it. This is fascinating. Also, do we remember the player that rolled into McCarthy on the sideline and he jumped in the air, both legs? You want to add some B-roll to this. Now we have visual evidence. Is this guy hitting Y on Xbox, jumping, but he's not able to go under center for a 3-step drop? Dude, again, back to earlier in the piece where we're talking out the Daniel Jones element. This is riveting, gentlemen, because now you got 3 and 4 club in 4th. And you got to go through a gauntlet of at Detroit versus Baltimore, then the Bears, then the Packers. If this dude goes 0 for 4, is KOC back on the throwback SportsCenter Budweiser hot seat? All thanks to Daniel Jones with a side of Sam Darnold?
I said it 3 weeks ago. Kevin O'Connell is going to end this year on the hot seat because he doesn't have a quarterback, and he let the last two of the guys who are going to be top 10 in MVP odds walk out of the door. His job is on the line, and I'm telling you, I understand all his regular season success up until this point. No postseason success, no quarterback. It's a tough sign.
Okay, guys, game time now to close out the show. So I've got a list here of the top 10 sack leaders since October 31st of 2015. So as we approach Halloween here, that's pretty much exactly 10 years ago, Halloween. So top 10 leaders in sacks since that point.
Wait, single season or just cumulative sacks since that
No,
time?
this is cumulative sacks. Good question. So this is cumulative over their career, how many they have. Top 10. You guys have a 5-minute timer and 3 strikes. Ready and go.
The first is Myles Garrett not first on this list?
Myles Garrett is first on this list with 112.5 sacks.
I feel like.
And let me tell you guys, he's ahead of the guy who's number 2 by only half a sack.
I feel like we're safe to go with Dwight Freeney here, right, Martin? That's a solid.
Oh, no. Since 2015. You have to think about it. This is like, you got to land on like the Mike Evanses. Like, you know what I'm saying? Since 2015.
I know, but Freeney, he didn't piece off enough from 20. He's way too old, isn't he?
Yeah, he's too old. He didn't play past COVID. So, like, the youngest we're looking at this list is probably the Micah Parsons.
So then,
that's not an official guess yet.
So TJ Watt's on this list.
TJ Watt's the guy I think is right half behind him.
That's correct. TJ Watt is number 2.
Okay.
How funny is that? Same division. These guys have been connected all along, and yep, they're only half a sack apart. 1 and 2 on the list since October 2015. But what else you guys got?
I'll go
4
with
minutes left, by the way.
I'll go with Mr. Make It All Great Again, Nick Bosa.
Wow.
Nick Bosa's your first strike. He's not on the list.
That's what I get. What do we think? Like, do you think
like Jadeveon Clowney's on this list, Martin?
No, you know who I really think is on this list is Hassan Reddick. But
Wow.
he would be somewhere 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, JJ Watt has to be on this list.
JJ Watt retired. I think when did he retire? You know who's on this list? Max Crosby's got to be on this list.
No, I don't know.
You don't
He's not
agree with
old
Max?
I don't think he's old enough. Dude.
What's your guys' guess?
I don't want to get our
Approaching
second
3 minutes
strike.
left here.
You
But
can,
I do
you
think
can
Max
put second
Crosby's
strike.
on this
You can go with that.
You guys got go ahead and throw stuff
me
out.
Max
It's all
Crosby.
good. Max Crosby is strike 2. That's not on the list.
Give us a mulligan. Man.
Think this is-
This is a tough. This is
no mulligan,
fickle,
but
dude.
I'll give you guys a hint here. You guys should be thinking of both edge rushers and interior linemen too.
Yeah, I was like thinking about like.
You know who's on
Vince
this list?
Wilfork, but like.
I can't give up the third strike, but I bet Cam Jordan's on this list.
I saw Ian might have tipped. Ian lifted his head. He lifted
Is that
his
your
head.
guess?
Who else would be on this list?
Cam Jordan's a
I
good
bet
guess.
freaking Cam Jordan's probably on this. DeMarcus Lawrence is probably on this. Because you got to think of guys who've been playing that long. But they're all second half of the list guys.
Dude, this is way harder than we.
Is Calais
like there's a
Campbell on the
couple-
list?
I don't know if Calais Campbell's a
that your guess?
sack. I think Khalil Mack could
There's
be.
a couple obvious guys.
Khalil
Oh,
Mack.
Khalil Mack.
Khalil
guys.
Mack.
Yes, Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack's
Mack's
number
on here.
3. Khalil Mack's number 3.
So we got 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. How much time do we have?
Got 2 minutes left.
Oh man, you're gonna have to just throw out stuff that comes to you. But I think
My next guess for them would be if it's not Khalil Mack, then Joey Bosa.
no, we can't lose 2
No Joey
strikes
Bosa.
on DeBosa.
I'm not going to lose. Okay, all right, I won't.
I'm not going to count that as your
We're not
third
gonna-
strike, but no Joey Bosa.
What do you don't
Oh,
think
okay.
JJ Watt's on this list?
Go for it. Clearly, I'm off on this one. I don't know who's on it.
All right, JJ Watt. Oh,
Nope, that's strike 3. No JJ Watt.
Is Cam? Let me
But
just real quick. Can you just tell me if Cam Jordan
He is,
and Hassan
he is.
Reddick are on the list?
Cam Jordan is on the list. He's number 6.
Good guess.
Hassan Reddick is not on the list. Now, there are some pretty obvious ones you guys missed here. There was Aaron Donald at number 5. Very surprised you didn't get that one. Von Miller at number 8. Very surprised you didn't get that one. Chris Jones at number 7. But
You know what?
just to run through the
I
rest
would
of them
have
here.
been sitting here for hours before I guessed Christian.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Daniil Hunter was number 4.
Wow.
Cam Jordan
Daniil
number 6. Chris Jones 7. Von Miller 8. Trey Hendrickson 9. And Chandler Jones rounded out the top 10.
Dude, we should have gotten 5 guesses in 10 minutes.
I bet if you
That was a tough one.
if you had done
Well, I have another top 10 list.
Yeah, we
too.
gotta
if you had
redeem
done since
ourselves.
2020, I think I would have nailed all of them.
Dude, COVID messed
Yeah.
with all of our memories. We need we
Exactly. It's hard.
Yeah,
to
that
beat
one was tough.
Before and after.
All right, I've got another
Boys.
top 10 list here for you guys. This is the top 10 rushing yard leaders since October 31st of 2015. So Halloween of 10 years ago exactly. These are the guys who collectively over their career have the most rushing yards since then. So give you guys
You love these
5-minute
10
timer here.
We
And
got this,
let's
Martin. We
see
got
what you
this.
guys got. See how many you can get. Ready and go.
We know Derrick Henry's on this list. He has to be on this.
Yes.
Derrick
Derrick Henry
Henry.
has to be on
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is number 1.
All right.
Good job. That's
All right.
number 1 in the clear. Didn't miss the
I
most
will
obvious
go
one.
with Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's number 9 on the list. A little lower down than you would have thought.
Good
right?
guess.
So be
Good
careful,
guess,
but
though. Good
he
guess.
has a lot of receiving yards, too.
2015 on. This is. I mean, dude, we got to be like is like a Mark Ingram somehow on this. Like we got to really take a step
So
back here.
I initially thought after I said McCaffrey, I thought Kamara, but I don't know
I mean,
if
it's
I
not
want
a
to go
terrible
all the way
thought.
Kamara
It's
yet.
not. It's guys that have been in the league that long.
When Saquon come out? 2017? Saquon's got to be on.
Saquon.
No, he doesn't got to be on the list.
Is that your guess?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Saquon. I'm okay
Yeah,
with
let's do
Saquon.
it. The 2000 last
Yep,
year.
Saquon's number 3. Saquon's number 3 on the list. I will say, this is somewhat of a hint. Number 2 kind of surprised me, but if you think about it, it's really not that big of a surprise, but it's maybe someone you aren't thinking.
Well, I already thought about Chris Johnson, and then I'm trying to remember the era when he was on the cover of Madden, and I'm losing years over it.
I'll give you a freebie. It's not Chris Johnson.
No,
Chris
I
Johnson's
know.
too old.
He's too old.
Jonathan Taylor
I thought
came
about Jonathan
out
Taylor. I'm
in
okay.
20
We have all of our strikes. I'm okay with Jonathan Taylor.
This is my thing. If I don't remember who played between 2015 and 2020, so if you played pre-COVID, you might as well play 2015. Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, Jonathan Taylor's number 10. Right after Christian McCaffrey just snuck in.
So we got 4 of them. So we're 4 for 10 with all of our strikes.
You've got Derrick Henry. You've got Christian McCaffrey, and you've got Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley.
I think we should go with Kamara. I'm cool with Kamara. I'm cool with that.
I want to guess Zeke Elliott first.
Ezekiel Elliott's number 2. That's the guy I was talking about. I was a little surprised he was that high, but yeah, if you think about it, not really all that surprising.
He's dominant.
He was dominant in his prime.
Beat him. Shoot another one. What about like Jamal Charles, Martin? Someone like that.
It's too old.
Too old. He made a Kevin Hart LeBron commercial the other day.
I think he would have retired.
Okay, let's just go with Kamara and or Mark Ingram. One of them, I think, is on this list.
If one of them is, it's going to be Kamara.
All right, go Kamara.
Alvin Kamara is number 7. Good job.
So we're missing 5 and 6.
You're missing 4, 5, and 6.
And we have
and 8.
And how much time I have?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. We can afford to be wrong here. Oh,
4, 5, and 6.
Oh, I was gonna go
and 8.
Like who's
4,
in
5,
that
6,
Todd?
and 8.
Who's in that Todd Gurley era?
Todd Gurley?
Nope.
No,
Todd Gurley, strike 1. No Todd Gurley. Retired too early, didn't play long enough. But
good running team.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't in like the top 20.
Ooh,
though.
Matt Forte.
No Matt Forte. That's strike 2.
This is Mark.
You got to remember these older running backs, like who retired recently. You have to remember that they were on the back end of their career right before they retired. So it's not like they were racking up all these 1,000-yard seasons right before they retired.
All right, we got 2 guesses. We got 90 seconds. We got 4 guys, Martin.
I want to guess Marshawn Lynch.
Nope, strike 3. Marshawn Lynch is not on the list.
We got one more. We got one lifeline.
I'll give you guys one extra mulligan here.
Come on, man. We were.
But yeah, you're missing 4, 5, 6, and 8 still. And yeah, I'd say 4 is the biggest surprise to me.
There's no way Leonard Fournette is on this list.
No
chance.
No, we're thinking. We
Do
need to
not
think
guess
about
Leonard
like
Fournette.
who is like a gritty Jets running back. I mean,
no, it's somebody. It's somebody who played. It's got to be somebody who played for a long time. Somebody probably played for winning teams, right? If this guy was playing for this much, he probably had to play for winning teams. Part of me feels like LeGarrette Blount or like one of these random Patriots.
All right,
Steelers.
you guys are officially out of time, but I'm gonna let you keep if you want to, because
we got to get one more. Let's try to get 1 or 2 more. Any hints?
Yeah, all of the ones that you haven't gotten, they're still playing.
Are you kidding me?
Every player on this list is still playing, other than Zeke.
Oh, dude, we need to get all of these right now. They're all still playing.
That's what I was trying to say with you guys when it's like you're talking about these old running backs. Like, don't overthink it.
Who's still playing that's cooking?
It's not McCaffrey. It's not.
They don't have to still be cooking, just they're still playing.
Like literally go down all the running backs for all. Aaron Jones in this conversation?
Aaron Jones is number 8.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I kept thinking about him, but I was like, I don't. Once you told me that somebody had too many receiving yards, I was like,
no, we can get this right now. And then it's not going to be Gibbs too early. Montgomery's too. I don't know if Montgomery's enough. we would go.
Is Priest?
No, they're all
Priest
playing.
on
They're
the
all
Titans.
playing. They're all
Oh
playing.
yeah, right.
Like, is Nick, like, go to older backs real quick, do the divisions.
Oh, Nick
like,
Chubb.
Nick Chubb, I mean,
Yep, Nick Chubb's number 6. So you're just missing number 4 and 5.
we just need 2 more. Young running backs, we
I'm
did.
telling you, number 4 is someone you wouldn't expect to be over those other names, but he is.
It wouldn't be anyone in the NFC East. Then we go to and it's AFC East. It wouldn't be James Cook. That'd be the only guy from that running back division.
He keeps saying number 4 is somebody we wouldn't expect, so that means it's not a star. It's just a guy who plays a lot. Honestly,
He's a star, but he's not
Okay.
like you wouldn't expect him to be one of the 4 leading rushers over the last decade.
James Conner.
No, not James Conner. That's a good guess
good
for
guess.
what I just described.
All right,
but
really.
no, I'm gonna give the rest to you guys. Number 4 was Joe Mixon. A little surprising, right?
Unbelievable.
And then number 5, Josh Jacobs.
Oh,
Oh, I should have had Josh Jacobs.